Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the real Hatfield town here on Football Manager 2021. Last time out then was a double header. We played against Buckingham Athletic and Benfleet, one in the and one in the league. Today we have got the Spartan South Midlands League Challenge Trophy second round. I'll keep going to say yes against St Margaretsbury. We're playing at home, and I think this is an opportunity to do some more squad rotation. Which I'm very much a fan of, as you've seen this series. I'm not normally a fan of it, but this series I've loved chopping and changing to try and get the best squad available, shall we say. So let's go with attacking to positive. That sounds fine. That I will change myself. Ease off tackles, opposition instructions. That's all good. And then as for the team lineup itself, I'm going to choose from scratch, which is something I don't do very often. So, clear entire team selection. We'll start with Murray in goal. Been very pleased with his performances recently. Emptage at right back, because we've not seen him for a while. Probably Macaulay actually at left back, because we definitely haven't seen him for a while. And then I want to put Main at centre back, left side of centre back, alongside Tuttle. Bit of I say experience. A bit of, how old is Tuttle actually? 19. So yeah, not experience, but a bit of he's been in the team for a while now, second season and all that. Right, now we've got some players in midfield who have been complaining about lack of opportunities. So we're going to put Christie here as the ball winner, and I'm actually going to play Stone on the left hand side. And then for the wingers, I want Cantwell on the right, Reed on the left, and then through the middle, Batten, there he is, and then up front, Jacob, there he is. Okay, and then the bench is going to be Argent, Evans, actually no, Newman, who's currently in negotiations about for a new contract, which will also, I believe, include coaching role. But I don't think I have any available coaching slots at the moment, so that might not happen, which will be a bit of a shame. I'd quite like it to happen, but we'll see. We'll also have, I feel like there's another slot for a defender, but no, I think that's everything covered there. Although I will put Coic on as a midfield substitute, so he can also play right back. And then we'll have Hammond. Actually, no, we'll have Gadger. And then we'll have Rahman Lewis. And then the two attacking options, we'll have Moriarty and probably Baker. There we go. So starting lineup: Murray, Macaulay, Main, Tuttle, Emptage, Stone, Christie, Reed, Batten, Cantwell, and then Jacob. And then bench: Argent, Newman, Coic, Gadger, Rahman Lewis, Moriarty, and Baker. Let's go play. 11 players lacking tactical familiarity. That's to be expected. I have a lot of players that lack tactical familiarity currently. Let's show what we can do to keep our run going. I believe match plan is turned off. If it's turned on, I'm going to quickly turn it off. Yeah, no match plan. Good stuff. Right then, let's get this game underway, shall we? Starting off with Main, delicious ball actually out wide there to Reed, who's got Macaulay on the overlap. Finds him. Oh, not a good first touch from Macaulay. Unlucky that. So, what's going on in the world of football right now then? My girlfriend was thrilled to learn the other day that the football season hasn't actually ended yet. So the Premier League, Football League, National League. In fact, the National League have still got their playoffs, so they're not finished yet. But the Football League and the Premier League technically are finished, done and dusted. However, we have this little thing called the Euros coming up. So I'm recording this on the 4th. So a week today, the Euros gets going. I'm trying to remember who the first match is. Is it Poland versus someone, I believe? I'm struggling to remember. But how do I feel about the England squad? That's probably the question that most people are talking about right now. How do they feel about the England squad? The answer is I'm a little underwhelmed by some of the selection choices. There are players who I feel were better options that weren't called up. So first of all, let's talk about the 4 right backs. Some people think it was a really stupid thing for Southgate to call up 4 right backs. Me personally, I didn't mind it. I kind of liked the logic. So the logic, for those of you who don't know, Ben Chilwell, Luke Shaw, they're the 2 left backs. And then we've got Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, we'll talk about him more in a second because something's happened with him, and Reece James. They were the 4 right backs. And everyone was going, you can't take 4 right backs to a tournament. But actually, what if they weren't all right backs? That's the big question. So in the World Cup 2018, Kyle Walker played predominantly as a right centre-back in a back 3. And then Trippier played as a right wing-back on the outside of him. Likewise, Reece James this season for Chelsea has also played as a right-sided centre-back and as a right wing-back for various matches for Chelsea. He kept swapping with Azpilicueta in certain fixtures, which, to be honest, as much as I don't like Tuchel, I actually think that was a pretty smart move. Depending on the opposition, you either play as a centre-back or a wing-back. That's, you know, pretty easy to switch your system without having to switch your players. So I don't mind that too much either. Trippier has frequently covered at left-back for England and for his clubs in the past as well. So he's kind of he's the Macaulay player, actually. If you look at Macaulay for us, he can play left-back and right-back. And that's what Trippier is in the England squad. He's the full-back who can play both sides. He makes up the 3rd left-back. Then you've got Walker, who can play as a centre-back or a right-back, a bit like Tuttle or Evans or Newman in our squad here. You've also got Reece James, who can play as right-sided centre-back or right-back or right wing-back. Very much like, again, Tuttle, Evans, and Newman. And then you've also got players, Trent, who could play in midfield. Now, unfortunately, Trent Alexander-Arnold has picked up an injury, which means he will miss the tournament. He's out for 6 weeks with a thigh injury. Personally, I'm gutted for him, because it's a major tournament. It is his first major tournament, isn't it? Did he make the World Cup squad? I can't actually remember now. I think he might have been left out. But everyone who says it's a no-brainer to take Alexander-Arnold to a tournament, I don't agree with that. I actually think it's a difficult decision as to whether to take him or not, because he's a very, very good attacking player. Everyone points to his assist record and his cross record and things like that, but as I've said in this series before, do you really judge a fullback by their ability to set up goals? No, you judge a fullback by their ability to stop goals. And his defending isn't as good as Reece James is, for example, or Kyle Walker. And actually, going back to that, someone was pointing out the defensive stats, saying Kyle Walker has less interceptions, less blocks, things like that. But then, what's the ratio? Don't just tell me how many times Trent's blocked a cross. Tell me how many he's faced, and then how many he's blocked. Likewise with Walker, tell me how many he's faced and how many he's blocked, because the percentages and the ratios is what I'm interested in. If Trent's faced 100 crosses and blocked 6 of them, and Kyle Walker's faced 2 crosses and blocked 1 of them, that's a 50% ratio compared to, what, less than 10? Or just over 10, sorry, percent. That's a huge difference. That also tells you about the teams they play in. More often than not, the ball doesn't reach Kyle Walker because the midfield deals with it. Whereas with Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool's defence arguably work a lot harder than Man City's defence. It's not a fair comparison, is what I'm trying to say. And if you actually look at the stats overall, I would argue that Trent missing out is not necessarily a bad thing for England. I don't think he would have played at right back for England anyway. I think he would have played more in midfield, either as a central midfielder or as a right-sided midfielder in front of one of James or Trippier. That's my opinion. I'm always sad when a player gets injured and misses out, but at the same time, I don't see it as being bad news if someone else can then be called up to replace them. I think we're pretty short in the centre-back department right now. Even with Walker and James being able to play as centre-backs, I would rather we had a natural in that position, and I think Ben White in the squad could be a ready-made replacement, filling in that spot quite nicely. There are a couple of other selections that I've questioned. A lot of people saying about Jesse Lingard missing out. I agree. I think Jesse Lingard missing out and Jordan Henderson being included is a bit ridiculous for me. Not because I have a vendetta against Henderson. He's not my favourite player, I'll tell you that now. I'll be upfront and honest about that. The reason I don't think he should be in the squad is because he didn't play for 4 or 5 months. And that time period where Jesse Lingard was playing arguably the best football of his career, Henderson was out injured. And I really don't think, if you've got a manager who says he picks players based on merit, I really don't think he could justify picking a player who missed the entirety of the second half of the season. Doesn't matter how good he was in the first half. Liverpool weren't that great this season. So Henderson couldn't have had a good season. Even if he'd played the second half of the season, I doubt it would have made that much of a difference. So I do find it a little bit staggering that he's been called up to the squad, despite the fact he hasn't played in so long. He didn't even play in the last game of the season for Liverpool. He was an unused sub. And yet he makes the England squad. And is probably a guaranteed starter in midfield as well, which is even more boggling. Calvin Phillips, I'm not really sure. Again, Leeds have had a good season, but is that down to Phillips? No, I'd argue that's more down to Bamford and Rafinha and Harrison and players like that. I don't think Calvin Phillips was really the linchpin that kept Leeds together. I've not seen anything from him to suggest that he's a good midfielder, in my opinion at least. He tends to go missing whenever I watch Leeds play. And considering his radical hairstyle, you'd think you'd be able to spot him on a football pitch, but no. So I don't agree with that one either. And the other one that irks me slightly, but I can't really think of an alternative, is Harry Maguire, because he's injured. Like, there's talk of him missing the entirety of the group stage through injury, which means, obviously, I think England will get through the group stage before I say this next bit. But in my opinion, that means Maguire's not going to play in this tournament, because how unfair is it? Imagine you're Tyrone Mings, okay? You're in the England squad, and you get told that you're starting the first game of the tournament because the first choice is in... Oh, is that back-heeled clearance then from McCauley? So I'll just talk about this replay for a second. What happened here? Tuttle's ball forward, intercepted, ball over the top. Tuttle's out of position. Sharif with the volley, and then... Yeah, cleared. So yeah, you're Tyrone Mings. You get told you're starting the first game of the tournament. You play really well. Keep a clean sheet. We win the game 3-0, let's say. Who are we playing? Croatia. Maybe not 3-0. Maybe like 1-0. Then you play the second game and you also play really well. And then you play the third game and you play exceptionally well. We get through to the knockout stage. And then your manager calls you to one side and says, oh, by the way, you're not playing now because this guy's fit. And he's going to take your place. How unfair is that? For me, Maguire shouldn't be in the squad. If he's injured, he couldn't play for Man United in the Europa League final. If he can't make the first game of the tournament, he shouldn't be in the squad. Simple as that. And if he got injured after being called up, that's different. Because chances are, he was already in the squad anyway. He got injured during training or during the first game. He might miss the first game if he got injured in training, but he'll be back for the second. That's different. But the fact is, he's been injured for, 2 months now? This isn't a hidden secret. Everyone knew he was injured. He shouldn't be there. Now, the reason I find this one tricky is because who do you call up to replace him? Good question. And again, Ben White would have been an obvious candidate, but he's in the provisional squad, and he might be a replacement for Trent. So then who do you call up? I don't know is the answer to that. I actually don't know. And I know the argument is normally if you've got no alternative, you shouldn't have a problem, but I have a problem for the sole reason that he's injured, and I think it's unfair on whoever replaces him for the group stage matches. Unless, of course, Gareth does the right thing and decides that whoever replaces Maguire is then first choice, and Maguire has to earn his place back and doesn't just get it given to him. But yeah, who do you call up? I'm trying to think of English centre-backs who aren't Jamal Lascelles, because I'm a Newcastle fan and Lascelles, I think, is a really good player. I would also argue that Connor Cody perhaps shouldn't be in the squad because Newcastle finished above Wolves and therefore Lascelles would have been a better pick, but I think Lascelles is also injured right now. So, again, not to be a hypocrite. Cody is not the worst player in the world by any stretch. I think he's a very, very good captain and a very, very good defender. But again, if you're picking purely on merit, he probably shouldn't be there. Wolves didn't play very well. He played, I think, the majority, if not all, of their games last season. So every time they let in a really sloppy goal, defensive-wise, he was there. He was part of it. He was part of the reason. Does that mean it's all his fault? No. But does that mean that him as captain and leader should be able to organise his defence a little bit better? Yes. Wolves struggled last season because they couldn't score goals, not because they were conceding goals. So every time they lost a match, that meant the defence were the letdown, not the attack. But yeah, other English centre-backs. Let me have a quick think. I'm going to go through the squads. Like Rob Holding, perhaps, as a backup option for Arsenal. That wouldn't have been a bad shout. Likewise, I mean, who have Chelsea got? They got Zuma, Christensen, Rudiger. None of those are English. Everton, Ben Godfrey, possibly. He is in the provisional squad as well, although he looked shaky the other night. It's one of the reasons why I suggested Ben White, actually. as well as his clearance off the line, he just looked like a more solid option. He took that shot from like 30 yards as well, so he's oozing confidence right now. Fulham, nobody from there I would have. They're all, was it Anderson's Danish and Reams American, and they've got, is it Tozin, his name? He might be English. He came through the ranks at City, I believe. I don't know if he's declared for any other country, so possibly, but then he might be in the under-21s. And again, relegated teams, it's a bit awkward to call up a player from a relegated team, which is funny because I actually suggested Ramsdale should be in the keeper pool instead of in fact, who did I say he should drop out of the keeper pool? I'm actually quite happy with the keeper selection, although I don't like Pickford as first choice. I'd rather have Henderson. But who's the third keeper? Henderson, Pickford, and who got relegated this season? Fulham. Johnston, that was it. West Brom. Speaking of West Brom, have they got any players who could potentially? Probably not, actually. Carl Bartley, he's all right, but I wouldn't say he was England standard yet. Plenty of time for him still, though. Yeah, I am actually struggling to think of another option for defenders. Centre-backs, at least. Gomez, if he was fit, would definitely be in the squad for Liverpool. Yeah, I'm genuinely struggling. Who plays... Right, Man City, you've got John Stones, and that's it. Liverpool, you've got Gomez, who's injured. And maybe Nat Phillips, but he might be Welsh. Because you have a lot of hidden Welsh players in Liverpool. They hide amongst the English lads. I'm part Welsh, I can say that. Everton, you've got Godfrey and Michael Keane, but I think Keane's injured. Plus, I don't think Keane's been great when he has played. Not recently, anyway. Yeah, okay, I'm stumped. If you can think of any suggestions for who would play at centre-back, let me know. But yeah, I really... We've done this before. Rooney in 2006 broke his metatarsal. It was 2006, wasn't it? It might have been 2010, actually. Broke his metatarsal, went to the World Cup, didn't play very well. In fact, I think it was 2006, because then he stomped on Carvalho and got sent off. You shouldn't take a player who's carrying an injury going into a tournament. And I know that reduces the pool considerably, but why not give someone else the chance? Whether it's calling up a younger player and then promoting someone in the squad to first choice, or... I mean, I don't go too experimental because it is an international tournament still, but use it as an opportunity. And this is a manager who, when he was first appointed, I was really excited by the fact that he said he would pick players based on merit and not by favourites. And since then, he's just broken that rule more and more often. And I don't like it. And the fact that, you know, we've got a really good striker in Jamie Vardy who feels he has no future in the England squad because, you know, 88 minutes on the clock, we're 1-1 or 2-1 down, whatever it was, to Croatia in a World Cup semi-final. Kane's dead on his feet and Vardy's still sat on the bench. That's why these players retire early. It's not because they don't think they've got anything to offer anymore. It's because they don't have the opportunity to offer it. And that's not a manager who's picking based on merit. That's a manager who's either run out of ideas, which I don't think Southgate has done, or is a bit stuck in his ways and likes his favourites and does want to keep them out there. Did I think Kane was going to score a goal in that match? Absolutely not. From the minute that game kicked off, he was struggling. The fact that we got that early goal from Trippier's free kick, we got pretty lucky with that. The rest of the squad were very, very, very fatigued throughout that game, and that's why we lost. The defence by the end couldn't concentrate properly because they played pretty much every minute of the tournament. Kane couldn't score because he played pretty much every minute of the tournament. It was always going to end that way. Croatia played more matches than us, more minutes than us, sorry, not more matches. They played more minutes than us throughout the tournament, but they rotated their squad a lot better, and therefore they might have even had higher fitness levels as well. That's not something I can comment on, though. And that's why they got to the final. They got schooled in the final, but they got to the final. Would we have given France a better game? Probably not. Would it have been more humiliating had we lost in the final to France? Probably yes. But to get to a World Cup final in my lifetime would be something I would very much like to look back on fondly. And I feel like that was a really, really missed opportunity. We had a very easy draw to get to that stage as well. All we had to do was beat one team and we would have made it. And then we went and lost to Belgium in the playoff as well because, again, pretty much same lineup. We were knackered. In fact, he did rotate for that one. I tell a lie, he did rotate for that one. But no one cares about the third place playoff, let's be honest. No one cares. So, yeah, there's a couple of other anomalies in the squad. Again, I mean, the ones that I really highlighted, Maguire, Cody, Phillips, and... In fact, those were the three, weren't they? Yeah, they're the ones who I don't think should be there for different reasons. I've tried to come up with ideas for who should be there instead. Lingard instead of Phillips would have been my choice, but then we are short in central midfield. So Ward-Prowse I'd have loved to have seen gone, purely for his set-piece delivery. If you've got someone who can deliver really good set pieces into the box, then all Kane has to do, or even Maguire if he does play, is stand there and head it into the corner. Simple as that. It's a striker's dream to have someone who can deliver set pieces like that. He's the closest we've got to De Bruyne for set piece delivery and just delivery in general. So yeah, it's a shame that he's not there. I'd have taken him over Phillips any day. He's also captain of his club, which I don't believe Phillips is. I think Cooper is still Leeds' captain. So there's another leader in the squad, which I think we've missed leadership a lot in the past as well. The fact that we've got a national captain who isn't even captain of his club. He does stand in a lot when Lloris isn't. In fact, has Kane been made captain now? Because it used to be Lloris for Spurs, but I don't know. They keep describing Kane as the captain. Is he now the captain? I don't actually know. I shouldn't really comment on that again if I don't really know. Someone let me know in the comments if he is now Tottenham captain. If he is, then fair enough. That's different. But, you know, Henderson as Liverpool captain, you've got a leader there. Ward-Prowse as Southampton captain, you've had a leader there as well. Two leaders in the central midfield would have been perfect. Then you'd have Maguire in defence, who's the Man United captain. Neither of the fullbacks are captains. So it's not. I mean, there's still three leaders just in your defence and midfield. And then you've got Kane up front, who is the captain of the team. It would have been good. It would have been good to have that kind of setup, but alas, not to be. Plus, you've got Declan Rice actually as well, who's also captain of West Ham in the absence of Mark Noble. So I think he is from next season onwards, maybe even the season after that, when Noble retires. Reece will inherit the captaincy at West Ham, if he stays at West Ham, of course, which I'd quite like to see him do, because I think he's well respected there, and he makes that midfield work basically, and they'll very much miss him if he wasn't there anymore. But yeah, overall, I think the squad is competitive. I'm underwhelmed purely because there's no standout names anymore. Like, Kane to me isn't a standout name. To other countries, I think he would be. He's our threat. But to me, he's just Tottenham striker, you know? And I think that shows where we are now with English football, that we can still be a dominating force in world football, but not have, like, we don't rely on a Rooney anymore, or a Beckham. We don't have the golden icon at the tip of the pyramid anymore. As a squad, we are a lot more rounded, and we have the ability all over the squad. We don't rely on a single player to do the job for us. And I think that shows good progression as a squad, because in the past, when we have relied on single players, we've really, really struggled in major tournaments, because that player then gets targeted, they might get injured, or they might just get kicked during the match, and as soon as that player is neutralised, so is the squad. So the fact that we have now got options, Calvert-Lewin can come off the bench if Kane can't play, you've got Rashford, you've got Sterling, you've got Sancho, all three can play on either side. They can also, in the case of Sterling and Rashford, they can play as a striker as well, or as a false nine in Sterling's case. There's lots of, again, this is something that people haven't really picked up on. There's a lot of players who can play multiple positions in the squad, which means going forward we can play something like a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, but when it comes to defending we can go 4-5-1 or 5-4-1 very easily, without players feeling that they're not in their comfortable position. And I like that. I think that's very important, he says as he forgets to put his phone on silent, which is also very important. I like the fact that we can do that in this squad. I like the fact that it's versatile. I like the fact that it's fluid. We don't have to make, like, if we're struggling for goals, we can go two up top without having to make a substitution. Which, if you're a defender and you're marking Rashford, and then he's suddenly in a completely different part of the pitch, that makes it very hard to keep tabs on him. And that's what Man City do very well. That's what Barcelona used to do very well in their heyday as well. It's what Liverpool used to do very well a couple of years ago. They constantly switch. 1 minute Firmino's playing through the middle, then he might switch to the wing, or he might drop a little bit deeper, and Mane might move inside, and suddenly he becomes the man through the middle. And if your job is to man mark a particular player, and you have to follow them around the entire pitch, it makes it very, very difficult to keep tabs on where they are. And if you're then out of your position, someone else might come and fill that space, and suddenly the player you're man marking opens the space for someone else to come through and score the goal. It's interesting to see the possibilities that we have available to us in this tournament. As long as we don't just stick Kane up front every single game and hope that somehow he'll find a goal. I would almost prefer to see him play with Calvert-Lewin and he be the provider. Kane got the most assists in the Premier League this season, as well as the Golden Boot. That's rare. That hasn't happened for quite a few years now. I think 2011, maybe even into the noughties, was the last time we had a player get both the Golden Boot and top assists. It would be awesome to see him utilise his assist skills for England as well. One thing that frustrated me against Austria the other night was how deep he dropped. I swear at one point he was playing as a sweeper. I don't want to see that. I would rather, if he's the lone striker, he needs to play as a striker. He's not going to assist anyone because he's the one in the middle that he's playing the ball towards. Or he should be the one in the middle that he's playing the ball towards. No one else is making that run. So that's either a fault of the other players for not making the run to fill the space, or it's the fault of Kane for dropping too deep. Either way, the buck stops with the manager for not, stamping that out when he has the chance. That's why I'd like to see someone else alongside him. Even if it's Rashford, we play a two up top that way. Or if it's Calvert-Lewin. Or, Ollie Watkins in the squad would have been awesome as well for this. Someone who can actually make that run in behind and cause trouble. So every time Kane drops deep, someone else runs in behind and fills the gap. Especially if they spring the offside trap in doing so as well. That would be perfect. Again, I'm very much waiting to see what happens right now. I'm not saying we've won the tournament yet. I'm not saying we've lost it. Obviously, I would like for us to win it. But to get to the final even at this stage, I think is a remarkable sign of progress. But I just want to see us compete. I want to see us go into games and actually attack and not just sit back and defend the whole time. And you can play a back five and still be an attacking team. Chelsea, when they won the league, proved it. Who else has played a back five recently? Chelsea this season, in fact, were pretty attacking when they played a back five. In the Champions League final, they took the game to City and they won. So let's do that. If we go with this back four mentality, let's actually see us play with a back four that properly attacks. One defensive midfielder sitting in front of the back four, allow the fullbacks to get further up the line, and then just go for it. Every single match, treat it as if it's the final. Likewise, if we play a back five, put Rice just in front of the back three, have the two wing-backs actually operate as wing-backs, overlapping the wingers further forward, and let's just go for it. Let's try and win this tournament. We're playing at Wembley a lot of the time as well. Let's try and win this tournament in front of our own fans. How cool would that be? It's 25 years. Yeah, since Euro 96, which was the last time a tournament was hosted in England. Let's go for it. Let's actually make the country proud in front of the country's fans. And let's not, for goodness sake, just play Kane up front and then a flat four 50 yards behind him, because that would be so boring to watch. Alright, we're half an hour into this match. 31 minutes to be precise. We've not had that many chances that I've seen. I think they've actually had more chances than us. We'll have a quick check of the stats. I can't see the stats on here, can I? No, that's dumb. Let's switch this one for match stats. There we are. So we've had 2 shots, 1 on target. They've had 3 and 1. Possession-wise, we're still on top, though. Fitness-wise, Cantwell, Batten and Jacob are all looking very, very tired indeed. They're probably going to be our 3 subs, to be honest. But we'll hold fire on that for now. It's good that we've actually got a competitive game going on right now. It looks like either team have the ability to score. It's not just one or the other. Exciting times. as Reed takes this throw. Throws it over the top, headed away from Stone. Christie caught slightly out of position there, but Main with a beautiful header forward. He's so tall, Noah Main. Look at the size of him. I think he is actually the tallest player out on the pitch right now. He is an absolute Goliath of a man. Whew. Would not want to come up in a heading contest against him, that's for sure. What else was I going to talk about? There were some other things I wanted to talk about today. Premier League review, I suppose. The right team won the league this season. City had a bad start as well. They looked like they were going to struggle again. And I think Liverpool actually had a good start. And it made it look like they were going to retain the title. But one thing this season has taught me is perhaps Liverpool winning the league in the 2019-20 season might not have been correct, let's say, had City not struggled with their injuries. It's really hard to gauge where Liverpool would be this season if Van Dijk was still playing. Because as people have correctly pointed out, Van Dijk was playing when they lost 7-2 to Villa. They only had, I think Adrian was in goal instead of Alisson, and maybe one other player had swapped in. I think Fabinho might have been playing centre-back because Gomez was injured. I think that's it. Besides that, it was pretty much their full team were playing. And they got beaten. They got beaten heavily by Aston Villa. No disrespect to Villa, but that really shouldn't have happened. Not 7. Maybe a 2-1 win or something like that. You could say Villa played really well, but 7-2. That's really, really good for Villa and really, really bad for Liverpool. I think even if Van Dijk hadn't have been injured, and I think even if Liverpool had their full roster this season, I still think they would have finished second in the league, maximum. I think last season, had City not had their injuries, they probably would have still won the league. That's my personal opinion. I think City's injuries hit them harder. Liverpool seemed to have a lot more squad depth. They had centre-backs coming out of their ears at one point. Plus they signed 2 or 3 during January, one of which hasn't even had a game, which suggests something weird's gone on there. The problem with Liverpool, I think, was attitude. The mental side of the game. I think they won the league last season, and then they thought they'd won the league this season before they stepped out on the pitch. I think that was their problem. And you see this. I'm going to name some names here. The one that immediately springs to mind is Andy Robertson. You see him in games where he's trying to wind up the opposition. He just comes across as a bit too arrogant for me. And I think it's players like that and mentality like that where you think, okay, they already think they've won the match before they've stepped out on the pitch. And then when they get beaten, they have no response. As soon as they go a goal down, they actually have no response because the mind game makes up most of their strategy. And I think the bounce back ability of some of these players hasn't been great either. That's why they didn't win the league this year. It's nothing to do with injuries. I think it was purely to do with their mentality. They have a manager who makes them feel like they've lost because one of their key players is out injured, which does nothing to the mentality of the player replacing them. Imagine Van Dijk gets injured, Nat Phillips gets called up, and you're already getting the impression through the media that your manager thinks you're going to lose the match because you're playing. Doesn't make you want to do well, does it? You might have that thing of, yeah, I'm going to go out and prove them wrong. But at the same time, wouldn't you rather your manager just believed in you? I personally would. There's also the fact that Klopp complains about the fixture schedule, and yet he plays the same 11 pretty much week in, week out. Why not rotate? If you're that worried about players getting injured, rotate your squad. Simple as that. He played a full-strength team against Villa's kids in the cup and then complained about they had a match 2 days later or whatever it was. Don't play your first team against a youth team if you're going to complain about fixture schedules. It's ridiculous. Rotate your players. They had Jota to cover for Firmino, but they still play Firmino every week. Jota got injured at one point, which didn't help things, sure. But you know, Mane's now getting more and more frustrated because he's seeing less opportunity, and yet when there's an opportunity to bring him in and rotate, Klopp doesn't take it. He spends more time looking for excuses than he does trying to find solutions to those problems. Again, it's all about the mental game. We have managers in this country who know how to play the game. And I'm not talking about football, I'm talking about the mind games. Mourinho is king when it comes to mind games. He will say the most randomest of things if it draws attention away from what he wants to draw attention away from. Whether it's the form of his players, whether it's his personal form as a manager, he will find a way to distract us from talking about that issue. Klopp, on the other hand, he just points at random things and says, you know, that's why we lost. The wind was too strong. The grass was too long. He was so concerned about Pickford not being sent off for the challenge on Van Dijk that it's almost like he forgot to manage the team for the rest of that game. They still had 11 players out on the pitch by the time that match finished. But you wouldn't know it to hear. And yeah, Van Dijk got injured. It was a really bad challenge. Should Pickford have been sent off? Probably. You could say he made a legitimate attempt for the ball, though, which might make it a yellow instead of a red. It was a very dangerous challenge. Van Dijk got injured. It wasn't good to see. But to then blame not just that game, but the next 4 or 5 results on that one incident, that's not logical. That's just weird, in my opinion. That's just, you know, a manager's looking for a get-out clause, basically. And there's other time, like, there was one interview he gave after a match. In fact, there's 2 interviews he's given after matches before, and I can't remember which matches they were. But one was where he said he was confused and he couldn't understand how Liverpool won the game the way they did. And then there was another where he said he was confused and couldn't understand why Liverpool didn't win the game. And this could be media buzzwords, I suppose. Also, English isn't his first language, and as good as he can speak English. No, that's not. Taking out the fact that he speaks English extremely well, you do sometimes mistranslate things when it's not your first language. So sure, we'll factor that in as well. But to say in an interview that you can't understand why your team are doing something, that to me suggests, like, I don't know, you've built a contraption in Minecraft and there's a glitch in the game and you can't understand why it's not doing what you want it to do. This isn't that. This is 11 players who you specifically have instructed to go out and do something. And if they're not doing it, it's your job to tell them that during the match. Not say afterwards that you couldn't understand what was going on. That's weird. Also, what's going on with my... Why is everyone sprinting full tilt while the player's getting tripped? Talking about glitches in games. There's a good example of one right there. I'm biased when it comes to these things. I've said before that I don't like Jurgen Klopp. I can admire him as a manager. I think he's achieved great things. What he did with Dortmund was second to none. But I do not like his attitude as Liverpool manager. I think when he arrived, he was fine for the first, 4 or 5 months that he was manager. The parade of honour in front of the fans after drawing with West Brom was a little bit strange. Perhaps that was the first red flag. But since then, he strikes me as cocky and arrogant in some cases. They might win a match where they really shouldn't have, and he comes across as so arrogant in the interview afterwards. And then there's matches where they've lost, genuinely lost, they were not good enough, the other team deserved to win, and he goes on these rants. Like he attacked, was it Des Kelly for BT, and started asking him about the fixture schedule, and you know, Des had to correct him and say, it's not me, I don't do this. And he just does things like that, which I'm not a fan of. I don't see Pep doing that very often. Even during the whole Super League crisis, shall we call it, Pep spoke very, very wisely about the whole situation. And bearing in mind, he was attacking his own bosses at that point. Some managers, like Tuchel, were completely spineless and just chose not to speak about it. Tuchel really does strike me as someone's lapdog right now for Chelsea. Like he keeps saying about him winning the Champions League means he should get a new contract, which suggests already he's very, very worried about his future employment. Pep, on the other hand, he doesn't really care about that sort of thing, and he'll go on the offensive against his bosses if necessary. Klopp was just really evasive about the whole thing. He wants to talk about the game. He doesn't want to talk about the Super League. And I think, actually, he missed an opportunity there to use his platform. But, I mean, that's a different matter. I'm not going to talk about that. But it's ones like, Newcastle drew with Liverpool. I felt like we deserved to win that game. We played very, very well at Anfield. The fact that we had what was, in my mind, a perfectly good equaliser ruled out. The handball law there is very, very foggy as to whether that is actually handball or not. Then we scored another legitimate equaliser. Willock doing the business. And in the post-match, he just... you'd think someone had killed his dog or something the way he was acting. I don't like that. I don't like that. I like managers who come out after a defeat and say, we weren't good enough as a whole. He has in the past blamed himself for results, but not often enough. I like managers like Scott Parker. He'll come out and say, my fault, or he'll come out and critique the team and say we weren't good enough here and here and here. But also he'll congratulate the opponents as well, which is something I don't think Klopp does very often. I don't like him, and I will look for reasons to not like him. I will throw that little disclaimer in. Some of you like him. I know some people say he's been a breath of fresh air to English football since he arrived. I don't really know what he's brought to English football that other managers haven't. Pep's proved that you can win with pretty much any formation and any player playing in that formation. Conte brought back the 3-4-3 that most managers now use. Even Tuchel has brought in this revolutionary system of having fullbacks and centre-backs swap. What's Klopp actually brought in apart from let's run a little bit faster and close them down a little bit quicker? That's not new. The way Liverpool do it was pretty revolutionary, but the whole G-Gen press thing I wouldn't say is new. I'd say we have had that before. Anyway, half-time. 0-0. Pretty even in terms of team positions here. I would like us to get forward a little bit more in this second half. We can switch that here, though, by going for attacking. Everything else I'm pretty happy with. I'm not going to make any changes just yet. I'm going to hold fire and wait for the second half. Maybe around the 60 mark. I think Cantwell will come off. Who do I have on the bench, actually, who can play right midfield? Rahman Lewis. I don't have anyone who can play on the left. I didn't really think about that, did I? Mind you, Reed's not tired. So as long as he doesn't get injured, we should be fine there. Jacob can play left midfield, actually, although he's looking tired too. But I don't think we're playing bad football here. I don't think we're playing bad football. We're not at the elite level because we haven't got the first team playing. The young players are still doing the job for us. We're not losing. So, just need to find that little spark, break through. And not play loose passes like that. Callum. It's Callum, isn't it? Callum Empty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name's Callum. Still getting used to the new players this season. Yeah, I've never liked Klopp. Even when he was at Dortmund, I could admire him as a coach, but not as a person. I just think he was a little crazy. And he does bring that craziness over here sometimes. Plus, I really don't like the way he criticises the English football system either. The fact we didn't have a winter break, so he campaigned for one. Fixture schedules. The fact that we have, the Boxing Day and then 28th of December matches. That's tradition. And as much as I agree that sometimes tradition needs to be altered, I think in that case it wasn't really doing anyone any harm. You notice it's always the big clubs who have the managers that complain about the fixture schedule. The ones who play in the Champions League, for example. Rotate your team is what I could say to that. You've got one of the biggest squads in the country. Why don't you try using it? Instead of telling your under-23s that you don't trust them by not picking them, why don't you actually give one or two of them a try and rest your key players, and then you'll have nothing to moan about. It seems like such an obvious answer. They're so scared to sacrifice a result, though, which again suggests that they're not coaching these youngsters properly. Or they're so scared to lose that they forget how to win. You look at Arsene Wenger and how he used to finish fourth every season. Then you actually look at the players in his squad. They were by no means fourth place finishing players, but he got them to finish fourth every year. That's the sign of a good manager. Someone who has a team that are capable of finishing first and narrowly make it into fourth, that's not a good manager. That's someone who needs to change their ideas a little bit. Anyway, enough of the Klopp. I'm not going to mention his name again this episode. No. We're struggling to keep hold of the ball in this game. In this second half. How are we doing with possession? 52-48 in our favour. Shots-wise, 3-2. They've still had 3-1. So they've not had any more shots since I looked at the stats earlier. But then we've only had one more since then. So there's definitely something needs to change. Rahman Lewis, I think, is going to come on soon. Cantwell's on a yellow and he's getting tired. In fact, I might just bring him on now. for a little bit more imagination down that right-hand side. Excuse me, right-hand side. I think Rahman Lewis, at least he used to be, really good at taking players on as well. And actually beating his man. And then getting across into the box. Why is the referee doing the he dived symbol? Don't know. Right, Rahman Lewis on for Cantwell. I'm going to fire up the players as well. We'll do a Tuchel. Just run along the touchline, doing our eagle. Murray, that is a good kick over the defender's head. Reed running onto it. We've got so many players getting forward here. There's the delivery. Oh, it's just behind. What was it? Just in front of Stone, just behind the other runner. Can't remember who that was. And then Rahman Lewis, the defender, got between them. That was a pretty decent cross, though, from Reed. Everyone in the middle was making the same run. Alright, fire him up. Let's see who actually responds to this. Rahman Lewis with the knockdown to Batten. Back inside to Rahman Lewis. Why is Christie not chasing that? I don't know. He should have been, though. Great challenge from Batten. Stone to Christie. He plays it over the top. That's another good one. I like how Reed just lets it drop over the defender and then chases it. Oh, Jacob. Unlucky. I think he gives him a little nudge to kind of put the defender off. And then he lets it bounce in behind and then chases it down. That was unlucky. Alright, Everett with the kick. Macaulay went for the header but lost. No, won. Just decided to head it backwards for some reason. Strange. Who do I bring off next? Macaulay's only on a 6.2. But, I mean, does that mean he's having a bad game? I don't know. He could have blocked that cross there and he didn't. But Tuttle managed to put the striker off. I think for me personally it's going to be Jacob for Baker. Just so we've got someone making that run in behind. And again, I might make that change sooner rather than later. I don't really want to draw today. I think the match is settled on the day. I think we go to extra time and maybe penalties, or maybe just straight to penalties. I don't actually know. Probably should check that really. But I don't run at one the risk. I just said no. I don't want to run at the risk of this ending 0-0 after 90. So we'll get Baker on. We might even switch to very attacking. That's a foul from Emptage, yeah. Probably going to be a yellow. There it is. And his name is Callum. Good, I remembered. But yeah, we'll bring Baker on now. We'll have the attack be a little bit more sharp. Ooh, that had a lot of swerve on it, that free kick. That could have been problematic. I think Murray knew that was going over. But I didn't. That had me nervous then. Alright, Murray with the long kick. Already you see Baker's taken up that position. Didn't quite reach him that time, but next time might be different. Stone with the ball over. Fitchett with the header away. So it's Mensah who seems to let it bounce. Fitchett knows what he's doing. Wow, some of the names. Grocott, Fitchett, Bachelor. They love their TCHs, don't they? In St Margaretsbury. Alright, Macaulay. Ball over the top. Asking a little too much of Reed there. Although Batten, oh, he had a chance there to do something with it. Just evaded him. Good defending, to be honest. Macaulay now. Can we not, lads? Can we not do this? Just turn that off. Can we not just lump the ball forward every time? Can we like get it down and do some thinking, please? Alright, Mensah with the throw. Some good man marking there, although Macaulay lost Casey. Grocott. Batten holding him up, but again Collins finding space. That's a good ball into the channel. Casey with the shot. Good save, Murray. Had to be strong there, strong hands. I was a bit nervous then as well, I'm not going to lie. Casey with the ball in, headed away by Tuttle, who once again is a rock in the middle. I have the opposite problem to Southgate right now. I have too many centre-backs. It's really hard to pick because they're all good in their own way. And Really, I should be doing more research into my opponents and deciding who the best centre-back pairing would be. But at the same time, you've got players who want to play every week. It's really hard to keep everyone happy. Same in the midfield. I've got Christie and I've got Moriarty, who both, on their day, can do very well. But you then got Gadger, Harding and Hammond as well. And Hammond is pretty much... He's undroppable. He's just good attacking, he's good defending. He's so good defending. The epitome of a ball-winning midfielder. It's really, really hard to drop players. But it's also really hard to pick some players as well, because others are doing so well. Good challenge there from Main. Macaulay is starting to lose the ball a bit more frequently now. Don't know whether they've exposed him as a weakness or... That wouldn't have been a bad ball if it had been 5 yards longer. Stone doing well. We've got Stone on the same side as Macaulay. And I believe Stone is more of a ball-winning midfielder as well. So, he has help if he needs it. He does have help. Cross comes in. Easy for Murray. He goes long. Baker with the flick. That's what we've been waiting for. Reed now out wide. Puts it along. Rahman Lewis with the shot. Oof. Baker opening the space here. Look at the run from Baker and how he drags the defenders with him. So look at Grocott and Batchelor. The ball goes behind him. Rahman Lewis ghosting in at the far post. Should have got that shot on target. But really good play from Reed. And a really nice flick from Baker as well. And good distribution from Murray to start it all off. That's how you counter. None of this just get the ball at the centre-back and he hoofs it long and hopes for the best. That was a measured ball from Murray that then started that whole thing. Much, much better. Got 30 minutes left on the clock. Macaulay with the throw in here. Stone with the up and under. That's not as good. Not too impressed with that. There are spaces in the midfield now. Christie, as a ball winning, I think he's a bit too deep for my liking. He's almost playing as another centre-back. And when you've got Stone, he's more defence-minded as well. I might actually swap them around and have Christie go further forward. That's a nice pass from Stone, though, to Baker. He's on his weaker foot, so he has to pass it backwards to Rahman Lewis. And his cross is blocked. Yeah, I'm going to swap the two central midfielders. Try and release Christie a bit more. Stone's the box-to-box right now, but I'd rather have him sitting deeper. Christie winning another throw. What could my last change be? Maybe Macaulay for Nash. Was it Nash? Bench or Argent? Would help if I remember this as well. Argent. Could do that, or we could bring Gadger on for Stone. Yeah, or maybe Gadger for Batten. We're in that usual situation if we've got 3 players looking tired, but only 1 sub left. Decisions need to be made. They need to be made pretty quick too, because we've only got 8 minutes before the 20-minute cut-off. Reed's ball, Rahman Lewis with the header. Just a little too floaty there. Baker had to wait for it, which gave the defender a chance to regroup. Oh, that was nearly a good move. Definitely a foul, but if he just eased him gentlier out of the way there, that would have been better. Look how narrow their back 4 plays as well. We really should exploit that. I don't know how wide I've got the team. Let me check. Yeah, extremely wide. So we are exploiting it. I might play for set pieces as well. Run at the defence. Actually, I'll turn that off. I'll let the players sort that out themselves. And this one will go with that. And then this one, I want to go with a much higher line of engagement. This one, they've actually put some good balls over the top, so I don't want to risk that. Let's go with this as a setup. This should be good. Rahman Lewis taking no chances there whatsoever. Just toe punting it into the crowd. Probably hit a small child in the face. glorious. Collins on the ball, finding Casey. Macaulay closing down. Won the first challenge, won the second challenge. Good stuff. What is his rating now? Only a 6. That's so harsh. He just did 2 really good tackles. Are they penalising him there because he didn't keep the ball? That would be really harsh if that's the case. Really, really harsh. Alright, Murray with the kick. Told him to distribute over the opposition defence now. And he's certainly trying that. That was a cannon of a kick, which Batten really should have done more to try and win. I'm going to demand more. Okay, they're pretty happy with that. They're pretty happy with that. And that's not a bad ball. Baker chasing it, forcing the throw. I think that's the most he could get from that, really. He hasn't got the pace to close down over that distance. Reed now with the throw to Christie, who, that looked like he was held back there, but the ref not interested. Bit nervous here. Oh, it's a definite foul from Macaulay. Yellow card. And here it is. Right, he's now going to be told to calm down. He's off. We'll say he's less urgent with the pressing intensity as well. I don't know how easy that... Oh, wow, he's gone down to a 5.9. That's so harsh. That is so, so harsh. I don't think that was a definite yellow, but then Empted should be on 5 point something as well then, because he's been booked. Just to say that, he puts in a really good block that potentially starts a counter-attack. Batten on the ball. Rahman Lewis should be running the line there, and he's not. That's annoying. Also, Batten is looking really, really tired. So, I'm actually going to bring Moriarty on and have him as a second striker if necessary. Bit of a risk, but what's life if not risk taking? So he'll be on right now as a cam, but he will move in, say, 10 minutes. If we're still looking for a goal, he'll move up front alongside Baker. We'll play a 2 up top. Tuttle winning the set piece. So I did do play for set pieces, and you can definitely see that starting to take effect now. He could have passed it there, but he decided to win the set piece. Moriarty with the free kick. Whips it in. Headed away well. Who's chasing this? Stone. I think Christie should have got that, but then he might be sticking to his position, in which case he's more disciplined than I am. And that's a corner. Well played by Reed, forcing the mistake there from Mensah. Moriarty with another opportunity to whip it in. Oh, that would have been a really good ball had someone been there. But since there wasn't, I'm not really sure why Tuttle was on the edge of the box either, but he was. Emptage with the ball over. A little too much gas on that for Rahman Lewis. That's a really flat kick from their keeper, but it almost worked out. Come on, lads. Switch to very attacking now. Good challenge from Maine. Maine, I might ask to stay a little bit wider now, just to support Macaulay. Who, to be fair, did well there. His rating keeps dropping, and I really don't know why. He did well there. He won the throw. Nice 1-2 there with Moriarty. Main with it. Is he going to do anything with it? Squares its Tuttle. He then goes long. What on earth was that? That was so bad. That's just composure. Christie to Main. Main with a kick forward. Cleared. Good challenge, Motherboard. Go on, take it. Knock it forward. Pass it to Reed. Pass it to Reed. Okay, go to Baker. Now to Reed. Oh, overhit it. Come on, lads. You're better than this. You're so much better than this. Macaulay, he's back to a 5.9. He actually did something good. Come on, Christy. Win it back. Win it back. It's 1 versus 5 there. It's not really a fair contest. Someone else should come over and help. I don't think that was a foul either. Maybe he clipped his legs from behind. Possibly. Excuse me. I think that was harsh. Mensah to Casey. Macaulay now, another good challenge, and he finds Reed this time. Reed with the flick over the top. Baker with the flick on, but no one running in behind. There's no one in the midfield area to win that either. I suppose if Macaulay does get sent off for whatever reason, Reed can move back to left back. So we've still got utility in the squad. Okay, 1-0 down. Thomas Casey with the goal. Oh, man. We're supposed to win all the cups this season. Has the gamble just backfired on me? Mensah to Grocott to Roger to... I'll say Alderman? Adinman? Something like that. Adinaran. Either way, Casey with the goal. And Hatfield on the back foot. We're going to move Moriarty now up top. Stone with the ball over. Yeah, way too much on that. Way too much on that. It's just some of these. I don't know if that was a pass or whether it was just a challenge that turned into a long ball forward. Some of these passes have been absolutely diabolical. Emptage to Tot. Oh, what is that? Rahman Lewis was in acres of space. What was that? Absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to berate them. This is awful. It's sort of the worst football I've seen from us in this series. There we go. All a bit happier now. Okay. Let's not play it out of defence anymore. We'll keep standard. That's fine. We're going to hit early crosses. We're going to shoot on sight. We're going to stop working it into the box. In transition, we are going to start... Actually, no. We're going to keep that off. That's stupid. This is all fine. And then out of possession, we're going to go with a higher defensive line as well. Defensive width is standard. We're going to use the offside trap. So at this point, we've got to just go for it. I might even lower the width of the team. Keep it a bit more central. Oh, I thought that was on target as well. Oh dear. Right, we've got 16 minutes to save this game. 16 minutes. The team do indeed look fired up now. Is it going to say like motivated? Yeah, fired up by the feedback. Perfect. Would be nice if we stopped kicking it out of play though. That would be handy too. Grocott with the up and under. Main's been done there, but good recovery challenge. You can see the corner. What's his rating? 6.4. So, I mean, Tuttle's the only defender who's actually got a decent rating. And even then, it's only a 6.7. That was Main with the header clear that time. Come on, Moriarty. Challenge for it. Just close them down and challenge for it. Don't just stand there looking at them. Rahman Lewis with the ball now. He's going to have a little run with it. There's the early cross, but there was no one there. At least he's following instructions. I did tell him to do that, and he did do that. So fair enough. Baker should have been getting forward a little bit faster. Tough one, that. That was a tough one. Moriarty brings it down. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. Good stuff. Well played by Moriarty. Do we have a shot on here from Moriarty? He's gone for it. Oh, keeper behind it. He kind of made it obvious where he was going there. He went round the wall rather than over it. Win that, Noah. That's not how you do it. He wasn't last man, so you don't have to worry. Warmington Christmas was that guy's name. Warmington Christmas. I want to sign him just for that name. Well, I want to know what his first name is. I bet it's like Theodore or something like that. We'll check that after. Baker on the ball. Storming forward. Tripped over Rahman Lewis there, but he's won the throw-in. What were they doing there, those two? Like, he was on a storming run, and Rahman Lewis just went across the front of him and, like, tackled him, basically. It's another free kick. Moriarty coming over again. Who do we have? And we've got Main and we've got Tuttle and Baker who can win headers. Everyone else is a bit on the short side. Oh, that was a good run from Reed, but he just isn't tall enough to win those headers. Or at least he's not aerial enough. He might be tall enough, but he's not experienced at heading. Reed with the throw. Christie brings it down. That was Casey that cleared it then. I thought it was a cross from Christie. Rahman Lewis. Oh, he tried. Fair play, he tried to get that back in. Good block from the defender. Throwing on this side now, which Tuttle will take. Throws it to Emptage. Back to Stone. Stone goes long. Keeper's ball. Not very good that either. Anything else I can do to try and make the team a bit more attacking? Don't think so. Maybe move Main into midfield and go 3 at the back. I don't know. Maybe move Main into defensive midfield. Then we can. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that would benefit us. That's the problem. I don't actually know what that would change. It would just make our defence a little bit weaker. We're not really getting dominated in the midfield. That's the thing. Tuttle with the volley of the season there, which Reed very nearly picked up on. Good first touch from Casey, but Macaulay has recovered well and makes a brilliant challenge there. And now he goes long. That's a good ball. Moriarty with a knockdown to Baker. He's a bit too deep for my liking, but that could be the offside trap that they've got. Warmington Christmas brought down by Tuttle. Collins now with this free kick. 9 minutes left. At what point do we just go like all out everything? We'll go slightly more direct. Dribble less. I'm going to turn all of these off. We'll let them play where they want. These I'll keep. This is going to be wide, but not really wide. Counter. We'll turn that off. Just kick it where you like, keeper. And then out of possession, I think everything here is as I want it, to be honest. Maybe turn that off. Let the player bring it down and then clatter him. Then the next time the ball comes towards him, he'll be looking over his shoulder. There you go. Madden knows what I'm talking about. Alright, Emptage with the throw. Emptage again. Good ball down the line to Rahman Lewis. He's whipped it in. Oh, that's a good ball as well. Forces the corner. That's a really good ball. Just needed someone at the near post. I don't actually know where Moriarty was for that. But I know where he is now. He's taking this corner. And he puts it back post. There's nobody there whatsoever. That's a poor ball. That is a poor ball. He knows where everyone is for this routine, and he's put it in completely the wrong area. Macaulay with the ball forward. Reed brings it down. Reed shot. Reed offside. 7 minutes to go. I'm actually sweating now. I'm really, really anxious. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose on camera like this. No, no, no. I don't think I did too much wrong. Their goal was good, to be fair. Keeper did get a hand to it. Maybe could have kept it out, but it was a good build-up play. They saw the gaps between the lines and they took them. Madden with the throw. Moriarty with the interception. Oh, he needed to put more on that. Oh, I thought Roman Lewis would won it back then as well, but he didn't. Oh, that's painful. Right, what is this guy's name? Adeniran. Adeniran? I think that's how you'd say it. Yeah, Baker on the ball now anyway. I could say that one. Oh, man. Some of the decision making is just awful. It's just awful. That should have been slide rule pass to Moriarty. He could have either run with it or held it up. Allowed Baker to do the overlap. Now he's been booked for a foul there too. Alright, one last throw of the dice. Main is going to play here as target man. Trequartista, no. You're now going to be a pressing forward set to attack. No. You're going to be a poacher set to attack. There we are. You're always an advanced forward anyway, so that's fine. Rahman, Lewis and Reed are going to drop back slightly. Excuse me. They're going to drop back slightly. There we are. And then Christie, who is on the left, is going to move there. You're going to move inside. You're going to move inside. You're going to move inside. And you are going to move there, Stone. Excuse me. There, please. Thank you. Right. Very attacking. In possession. We're going to go more direct. Transition. Distribute to target man. And then out of possession. That should be fine still, actually. Although we will go... No, we'll keep that standard. We'll keep that standard. Alright. Confirm. Play. We're going to encourage them. I don't know if that's going to backfire or not, but the idea right now is not to be angry with them as such, but just be like, come on lads, you can actually do this. They're all looking positive. Did the shout go through? I don't know if the shout actually went through or not. If they did, then I guess that worked. Problem is we just keep conceding throw-ins now, which means we're not actually holding on to the ball or even getting the ball and doing anything worthwhile with it. Ball over the top, cross comes in, Murray's safe hands there. One thing I forgot to change was you are a ball-winning midfielder, just set to defend. There we go. The two centre-backs, the two wing-backs who are now playing centre-back, I don't really care what they're doing right now. Alright, Reed's throw. Headed away, wasn't very good. Stone not fast enough. Can I tell Baker to stay forward? No. Not really. Good header there from Tuttle. Main collects. And swings his foot through it. It's the passing there that's just a little bit poor still for my liking. Alright, Reed again with the throw. Finds Moriarty again. Can't get past his man. Does win another throw though. Reed again to Rahman Lewis this time. Good ball into the channel from Moriarty. He went for the shot. I did tell him to shoot on sight. Fair play. Did tell him to do that. Oh, God, Baker. Thought he was going to give it away then. Macaulay with the ball over. Headed a clear. 2 minutes left. It's going to be a struggle, this one. If we are going to get back into it, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. How are they not finding Noah? He's so tall. Just kick it to the big stripy pole standing in the centre forwards position. There you go. Good play there. Baker with the ball. Rahman Lewis steaming onto it. Good first touch from him. Went for the early cross. Blocked. Out for another throw. Do we have anyone who can take long throws? I don't think we do. Yeah, we'll do that. Fine. Tuttle's throw to Christie. And he's lost it. He's lost it. Get there. That's it. Oh, I thought that was going to find Baker then. 4 minutes of injury time. Their keeper's now time wasting. Rahman Lewis with a good interception. Finds Emptage. Back to Murray. Long ball forward. Noah with the head down to Christie. Good ball to Reed. Nice flick to Baker. Back to Reed. Oh, good defending. We've come up against a pretty decent defence today, to be fair. Let's have a look at the stats quickly. 7 shots. 3 on target. They've had 8 and 3. And obviously scored one of them. Possession. Yeah, we've had less possession now. And crosses completed. I think ours says 14%. And theirs is 8. But they're not. That might not be their game. They might just try and whip some crosses in if they feel like there's an opportunity. Our entire back 3 have been booked as well. Plus Baker. That makes 4. Plus Cantwell 5. I think we're going to get fined for this game as well. Oh, Main a bit too aggressive there. Do you reckon it's worth maybe trying to retrain him as a striker for moments like this? Possibly. Or at least having a defender who can play as a striker, as a target man. Emptage, big kick forward. Baker brings it down. Baker's shot. Oh, too high. Oh, he did so well to bring that down as well. Two minutes left. Come on, lads. We can do this. I feel like we're getting more chances now. Rahman Lewis again with the ball. Baker's running in the middle. Oh, he overhit it. Overstretched himself there. Someone come short. Someone come short. No. Alright, Tuttle. Recycle. That's fine. Good ball forward. Kinda. It almost reached Moriarty. Emptage with the header inside to Stone. He finds Christie. Christie with the up and under. Wasn't a bad ball, but again, good defending. Tuttle now. Come on, come on, come on. Throw it to Rahman Lewis. That's it. Touch. Good touch. No, you don't cross it there. It's the Cole Walker school of crossing. Moriarty's open. Okay, go Rahman Lewis. I don't know what he was trying there. He should have gone back to Tuttle. Never do a heel spin and try and kick it in the box. I think that was our last chance, actually, because we're in the 5th minute of injury time now. That could be full time. Moriarty, one more. Throw the die. Oh, it's just... How do you mess up a 2-yard pass like that? Yeah? We're out the FA Vase. No, wait, this isn't the FA Vase. This is the Challenge Trophy, isn't it? Yeah, we're out the Spartan South Midlands League Challenge Trophy second round. Oh, my God. Awful, awful performances from some of the players there. Emptage was just flat. Macaulay, I still think was harsh, but he certainly didn't have his best game. Baker did nothing when he came on, apart from get booked. What an awful performance. I feel quite down now. I mean, the teams were pretty even there, and the match stats were pretty even. In fact, they were identical. Identical, 50-50, 8 and 3. Yeah. Just 26 fouls didn't help. 5 yellow cards definitely didn't help. Our expected goals was 0.36 lower than theirs. Right, how can I throw... Yes, throw something. Not good enough. Players, not good enough. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Don't look anxious and demotivated. You're supposed to be fired up. You're supposed to go out next time and kick every ball. Alright, well, that's not how I wanted this video to go, but it is what it is. The result stands, and just to prove it, I'm going to save my game on camera so you can see. The result stands. We are going to take the loss, and we're going to move on. So we're now only in 3 competitions this season, but that's still a lot. You know, if we win a treble, that's pretty good. What's Roman Lewis moaning about? Feels I was too harsh. We lost 1-0, mate. Got no concerns, and neither should you. I don't want to sell him. Let's go with that one. Oh my God. I hate these people who repeat what you've just said back to you. And then make it sound like it's a bad thing. I probably could have handled that better, but I'm not happy with that performance, and I want them to know that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series so far. Drop those comments down below, ideas for signings, tactics, transfers. Let me know what I could have done there, actually, to not lose that game. I feel like I got something wrong. Maybe it was just the lineup from the start. Maybe I went a bit too much with youth and not enough with experience. But yeah, between now and Tuesday, so I'm going to play these 2 league matches off camera. I might even play this cup match here against MK Irish off camera, because again, I'm going to start picking up the pace again. I think the next stream is going to be the Bishop Auckland match, so maybe Amped Hill will be the Tuesday video. We will see. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, as I said. Drop all those comments. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support, and until next time, I will see you soon.